Imagine a world bathed in the golden light of compassion, where every heart beats in harmony with wisdom, and suffering dissolves like mist under the morning sun. This is the promise of Maitreya, the Buddha of the future, whose name echoes through the ages as a beacon of hope in Buddhist traditions. Have you ever wondered how this radiant figure, revered across continents and centuries, is understood in the diverse streams of Buddhism, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana? Today, I invite you on a journey to explore Maitreya's profound significance, a path that unveils not just history, but the very essence of human aspiration. Stay with me, dear listener, as we uncover the layers of devotion, philosophy, and practice that make Maitreya a universal symbol of awakening. If this exploration stirs your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the light of wisdom, and consider supporting this channel through Super Thanks to help us continue these deep dives into the Dharma. Let us begin where all journeys start, with a single step into the heart of the Buddha's teachings. Maitreya, whose name means the loving one or the kindly one in Sanskrit, is not merely a figure of prophecy, but a living embodiment of boundless compassion and wisdom. In Buddhist cosmology, Maitreya is the next Buddha to appear in our world, succeeding Gautama Buddha after eons, when the Dharma has faded and humanity yearns for renewal. Yet, how this future Buddha is perceived varies richly across Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana traditions, each weaving its own tapestry of reverence and practice. As a historian and philosopher of Buddhism, I have spent decades tracing these threads, marveling at how Maitreya reflects both the unity and diversity of the Buddhist path. Let us walk together through the Theravada tradition first, where Maitreya's presence is subtle yet profound, rooted in the earliest texts and the aspirations of the faithful in Theravada Buddhism. Practiced widely in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, Maitreya is known as Maitreya in Pali, the language of the Theravada canon. Here, Maitreya is primarily seen as the future Buddha, foretold by Gautama himself in the Kakavada Sihanada Sutta of the Digha Nikaya. This ancient text paints a vivid picture of a world in decline, where morality wanes and human lifespans shorten, only to rise again under Maitreya's enlightened reign. Unlike Gautama, who attained Buddhahood through his own efforts in a time of spiritual obscurity, Maitreya is prophesied to appear when conditions are ripe, when humanity has rediscovered virtue, and lifespans stretch to 80,000 years. Theravada texts describe Maitreya as a figure of immense hope, a teacher who will rediscover and proclaim the Dharma anew, leading countless beings to liberation. What captivates me as a scholar is how Theravada emphasizes Maitreya's human journey. Before becoming a Buddha, Maitreya is currently a Bodhisattva, Pali for Bodhisattva, residing in the Tushita heaven, awaiting the right moment to descend to earth. This belief anchors Theravada's view of Maitreya in a linear, historical framework. He is not yet a Buddha, but a being on the path, much like Gautama once was. For Theravada practitioners, Maitreya is less an object of active worship and more a symbol of inspiration. Monks and lay people aspire to be reborn in Maitreya's time, to hear his teachings directly and attain liberation. This aspiration shapes Theravada practice, encouraging devotees to cultivate merit through generosity, ethical conduct, and meditation, ensuring a favorable rebirth. Consider for a moment the quiet power of this belief. In Theravada communities, Maitreya's story is not about immediate divine intervention, but about patience and perseverance. It reminds us that the path to awakening is long, spanning lifetimes, yet always within reach through diligent practice. Temples in Theravada countries rarely depict Maitreya in statues as prominently as other figures like Gautama or Ananda, but when they do, he is often shown as a serene bodhisattva, seated in contemplation or standing with a gentle smile, symbolizing hope for a brighter future. In Sri Lanka, for instance, the ancient chronicles like the Mahavamsa mention Maitreya as a motivator for kings and monks alike to preserve the Dharma, ensuring its survival until his arrival. As a philosopher, I find Theravada's portrayal of love, Maitreya, deeply resonant with the human condition. It speaks to our longing for a better world while grounding us in the present moment's work. The Theravada faithful are not passive. They actively prepare for Maitreya's era by living the Noble Eightfold Path. This practical optimism is a call to action for us all, to cultivate kindness, wisdom, and mindfulness today, knowing these seeds will bloom in the future. If this perspective inspires you, please like this video to show your support, share it with others who seek the Dharma's wisdom, and consider a super thanks donation to keep these teachings alive. Yet, there isosceles, the Theravada view of Maitreya is not without its subtleties. In some texts, such as the Anagatavamsa, a later Pali work, Maitreya's future life is detailed with vivid imagery. Born into a noble family, he will renounce worldly life, attain enlightenment under a Naga tree, and preach his first sermon to a vast assembly. These stories, though less central than Gautama's life, serve as moral exemplars, encouraging practitioners to emulate Maitreya's virtues of patience, compassion, and determination. In rural Theravada villages, I've seen devotees offer alms with the quiet prayer of meeting Maitreya in a future life, a testament to how deeply this belief shapes their spiritual outlook. As we pause here, reflecting on Maitreya's role in Theravada, let us carry forward this sense of hope and purpose. The journey through Mahayana and Vajrayana perspectives awaits, each offering unique insights into Maitreya's divine and transformative presence. Stay tuned for the next part of this exploration, and if you found this journey enlightening, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your community, and support us through super thanks to continue spreading the Dharma's light. Picture a lotus blooming in the heart of the cosmos, its petals radiating boundless compassion, inviting all beings to awaken to their true nature. This is the essence of Maitreya in the Mahayana tradition, where the future Buddha transcends time, becoming both a promise of tomorrow and a living presence today. Have you ever felt a spark of inspiration, a longing to connect with a wisdom that embraces all? In Mahayana Buddhism, Maitreya is that spark, a divine figure who stirs the heart toward enlightenment for the sake of all beings. Join me, dear listener, as we delve into the Mahayana vision of Maitreya, a tapestry woven with devotion, philosophy, and transformative practice. If this journey resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the Dharma's light, and consider supporting us through super thanks to keep these teachings alive. As we move from the Theravada tradition, where Maitreya is a future Buddha, awaiting his time in Tushita heaven, Mahayana Buddhism flourishing in China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and beyond paints a more dynamic and accessible portrait. In Mahayana, Maitreya is not only the Buddha to come, but also a celestial bodhisattva, actively engaged in the salvation of all beings. This dual role, as both a future teacher and a present guide, reflects Mahayana's expansive view of the bodhisattva path, where enlightenment is pursued not for oneself alone, but for the liberation of all. As a historian, I am struck by how Mahayana texts, such as the Lotus Sutra and the Maitreya Yavyakara, elevate Maitreya to a figure of universal compassion, bridging the earthly and divine. In Mahayana cosmology, Maitreya resides in Tushita heaven. But unlike the more distant figure in Theravada, he is accessible through devotion, meditation, and ritual. The Lotus Sutra, a cornerstone of Mahayana, mentions Maitreya as a bodhisattva who will inherit Gautama Buddha's mantle, destined to lead humanity when the Dharma fades. Yet, Mahayana practitioners do not merely wait for this future. They invoke Maitreya's presence now, chanting his name, visualizing his radiant form, and seeking his blessings to cultivate wisdom and compassion. In Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, for instance, Maitreya is sometimes revered alongside Amitabha Buddha, with devotees aspiring to be reborn into Shita heaven to study under him, much like aspiring to Amitabha's pure land. What captivates me as a philosopher is Mahayana's emphasis on Maitreya as an embodiment of metta, loving kindness, and prajna, wisdom. In texts like the Sutra of Maitreya's Descent, he is depicted as a towering figure, adorned with celestial ornaments, whose arrival will usher in an era of peace and spiritual abundance. Temples across East Asia, from the grand halls of China's Mount Wutai to Japan's Karuji Temple, house statues of Maitreya, often portrayed as a serene bodhisattva with a gentle smile or as a majestic Buddha seated on a lion throne. These images are not mere art. They are invitations to connect with Maitreya's vow to save all beings, inspiring practitioners to emulate his boundless generosity. In Mahayana practice, Maitreya's influence is tangible. Monks and lay people recite mantras like Om Maitri Mahamatri Maitri Svaha, believed to forge a karmic connection with the future Buddha. In Chinese Buddhism, Maitreya is sometimes conflated with the beloved figure of Buddhai, the laughing Buddha, whose jovial demeanor symbolizes joy and abundance. While scholars debate whether Buddhai truly represents Maitreya, this folk tradition reflects Mahayana's accessibility, making Maitreya a figure of warmth and approachability. I recall visiting a temple in Vietnam where devotees offered incense before a laughing Maitreya statue, their faces lit with hope, a reminder that the Dharma speaks to both the heart and the intellect. Mahayana's Maitreya also carries a profound philosophical weight. In the Yogacara school, Maitreya is credited with inspiring key texts such as the 5 treatises of Maitreya, transmitted through the sage Asanga. These works, including the Abhisamyalanka and Mahayana Sataranank, explore the nature of consciousness, the path to Buddhahood, and the interconnectedness of all beings. Here, Maitreya is not just a future savior, but a teacher whose wisdom shapes Mahayana doctrine today, emphasizing the Buddha nature inherent in all. This idea that every being carries the seed of awakening infuses Mahayana's view of Maitreya with urgency. We prepare for his coming by awakening our own compassion. Now, as a historian, I see Mahayana's Maitreya as a bridge between the individual and the universal. His future arrival inspires hope, but his present role as a bodhisattva empowers action. Practitioners are called to live as Maitreya would, with kindness, wisdom, and a commitment to others' liberation. This resonates deeply in Mahayana's emphasis on the 6 paramitas, perfections, particularly generosity and patience, which Maitreya exemplifies. In Korea, for example, festivals honoring Maitreya blend meditation, chanting, and acts of charity, reflecting this active engagement with his ideals. Let us pause here, holding the Mahayana vision of Maitreya in our hearts, a vision of compassion that spans lifetimes and realms. The Vajrayana perspective awaits, with its esoteric and transformative approach to the future Buddha. If this exploration has touched you, please like and share this video to inspire others. Subscribe for more Dharma insights, and consider a super thanks donation to support our journey. Stay with us as we venture into the mystic depths of Vajrayana, where Maitreya's light shines in unexpected ways. Envision a mandala ablaze with radiant colors, its center pulsing with the transformative energy of enlightenment, guiding all beings through the veils of illusion to ultimate truth. This is Maitreya in the Vajrayana tradition, a mystic embodiment of compassion and wisdom, whose presence ignites the heart with the promise of awakening. Have you ever felt a call to transcend the ordinary, to touch the divine within through sacred practice? In Vajrayana Buddhism, Maitreya is not just a future Buddha, but a living force, accessible through ritual, visualization, and the esoteric path. Join me, dear listener, as we step into the luminous world of Vajrayana, completing our journey through Maitreya's significance across Buddhist traditions. If this exploration stirs your soul, please like, subscribe, and share this video too. Spread the Dharma's radiance and consider a super thanks donation to help us continue unveiling these sacred teachings. From the Theravada vision of Maitreya as a future Buddha inspiring patience and merit, to the Mahayana portrayal of a celestial Bodhisattva guiding us now, we now enter the vibrant realm of Vajrayana, practiced in Tibet, Bhutan, Mongolia, and beyond. In this esoteric tradition, also known as Tantric Buddhism, Maitreya is both a prophetic figure and a deity of profound spiritual power, woven into the intricate tapestry of Tantric practice. As a historian, I am captivated by how Vajrayana transforms Maitreya into a dynamic presence, accessible through meditation, mantra, and ritual, offering practitioners a direct path to enlightenment in this very lifetime dot in Vajrayana. Maitreya retains his role as the future Buddha, destined to appear. When the Dharma fades, as described in texts like the Maitreya Vyakara. Yet, unlike the more linear perspective of Theravada or the devotional accessibility of Mahayana, Vajrayana emphasizes Maitreya's immediacy as a yidam, or meditational deity. Practitioners visualize Maitreya in vivid detail seated on a lotus throne, golden in hue, holding a stupa in one hand and a nectar-filled vase in the other, radiating loving kindness. This visualization is not mere imagination, but a transformative practice, where the practitioner merges with Maitreya's enlightened qualities, dissolving the ego and awakening the Buddha nature within. The mantra Om Maitri Maitri Maha Maitri Svar resonates in Tantric rituals, its vibrations aligning the practitioner with Maitreya's compassionate energy. What strikes me as a philosopher is Vajrayana's unique approach to time. In this tradition, Maitreya's future arrival is not distant, but accessible now through the timeless realm of enlightenment. The Theravada Tantra and other texts suggest that by engaging with Maitreya's deity form, practitioners can accelerate their path to Buddhahood, bypassing countless lifetimes. In Tibetan monasteries, I have witnessed monks performing Maitreya sadhana's intricate rituals, combining visualization, mantra recitation, and offerings to invoke his blessings. These practices are not only for personal liberation, but for the welfare of all beings. Reflecting Vajrayana's emphasis on universal compassion, Maitreya's iconography in Vajrayana is rich with symbolism. In thankas and statues, he is often depicted with a serene smile, adorned with silks and jewels, his golden body symbolizing purity and wisdom. In some traditions, he is shown standing, a gesture of readiness to descend into the world, or seated, in a teaching posture, signifying his role as the future Buddha. The Naga tree, under which Maitreya will attain enlightenment, appears in some depictions, its serpentine branches evoking protection and transformation. In the Nyingma school, Maitreya is sometimes linked to Padmasambhava, the Tantric master, who brought Buddhism to Tibet, highlighting his role in preserving the Dharma for future generations. Vajrayana's Maitreya also carries a profound social dimension. In Tibet, the Maitreya festival, held in monasteries like Drapung, features grand processions and prayers for his swift arrival, reflecting a collective aspiration for a world of peace and enlightenment. These festivals blend devotion with action, as communities offer alms, restore sacred sites, and dedicate merits to hasten Maitreya's era. As a scholar, I see this as a powerful reminder that spiritual practice is inseparable from worldly responsibility. Vajrayana teaches that by embodying Maitreya's qualities, compassion, wisdom, and skillful means, we co-create the conditions for his coming, transforming our world in the present. Reflecting on our journey, we see Maitreya's light refracted through three lenses: Theravada's patient hope, Mahayana's universal compassion, and Vajrayana's transformative immediacy. Each tradition offers a unique path to connect with Maitreya, yet all converge on a shared truth: the potential for awakening lies within us all. As a philosopher, I am moved by how Maitreya embodies the timeless aspiration to transcend suffering, uniting Buddhists across cultures and eras. Whether through Theravada's disciplined practice, Mahayana's devotional fervor, or Vajrayana's esoteric rituals, Maitreya calls us to live with kindness, wisdom, and courage. As we close this exploration, let us carry Maitreya's light into our lives. Practice a small act of kindness today, meditate on compassion, or share the Dharma with another. It is through these actions that we prepare for Maitreya's world. If this journey has inspired you, please like and share this video to spread the Buddha's wisdom. Subscribe for more insights, and consider a super thanks donation to support our mission of illuminating the Dharma. Together, let us walk the path of Maitreya, transforming ourselves and our world with every step.